Just as Elon Musk makes headlines for leaving California for the tax-friendly state of Texas, the wealth haters in California's state assembly are back at it, picking up the pieces of their failed wealth tax bill from earlier this year and rolling out for early next year a new bill that would take wealth from those terrible millionaires and billionaires. I'm going to tell you all about California's new wealth tax proposal and how you can prepare. I am Andrew Henderson here at Nomad Capitalist. Myself, my team, and our global network help 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs legally go where you're treated best. You can learn more at nomadcapitalist.com. And California is at it again. It was funny because I was going through a lot of the social media back and forth about Elon Musk and even to Elon Musk, watching as politicians in the state of California, a state which has benefited from a lot of jobs that Tesla and all of Elon Musk's other companies have created, a lot of taxes that he has paid in all different forms, as politicians literally tweeted the F word at Elon Musk. What a terrible person that he is, that he had the audacity, the sheer audacity of becoming wealthier at a time when not everyone is becoming wealthier. And so Assembly Bill 71 is something that we are just learning some of the initial details about. It has been cobbled together by a couple folks in the California Assembly, and its goal is to basically go back and pick up the pieces of the failed wealth tax bill that California tried to roll out in 2020. Now, you may have realized that California proposed in vain recently to roll out a first-of-its-kind state wealth tax, which would tax on an annual basis the wealth, something that's inherently hard to quantify, of certain millionaires and multimillionaires and billionaires living in the state, and force them to pay that to California's government to make up for all of their sheer incompetence in running the state. And what it also would have done, in a historic move, would be go back up to 10 years and look at people who left the state of California and basically tax retroactively people who did leave or had already left California. And when I talked to Robert Kiyosaki on his Rich Dad radio show, I said wealth tax and I said retroactive taxes are two things you're going to see more of in the U.S. and other Western countries. The U.S. has already set the precedent in 2017 of applying retroactive taxes. And so why not do it again? You're going to see more taxes on wealth, and California tried that. Now, they didn't come close enough, so that was, I suppose, a positive sign. But now they're coming back at it again. So this Assembly Bill 71. We don't have all the details. It is preliminary. It's going to the committee. It is something that we rolled out in the 2021 session. But here are some of the highlights. They're coming back with a millionaire's tax. So if you make $1 million per year or more, which I always point out doesn't mean you're a millionaire. If you make $1 million or a year per more in income, you are going to see a higher rate. Already the highest state income tax rate in the country at 13.3%. They're going to go up into the 16s. 1 out of every $6 you make is going to go to pay taxes. Not all of your taxes, but taxes at just the state level. Forget the federal level. You know, Joe Biden wants those to go up as well. You could easily be paying close to 60 cents on the dollar if you are self-employed under this new system. What they also want to do is increase rates on state capital gains tax, make more capital gains taxable, and also eliminate the stepped-up basis on inheritance. So more people are paying at higher rates, more capital gains are actually taxable. And on top of that, they also want to raise the progressive corporate tax rates to even higher levels. Again, California, the highest tax burden state in the United States. They want to raise taxes on individuals. They want to raise taxes on businesses. And there's talk of once again incorporating a wealth tax into the proposal. Now, that was the part that I think sunk it last time, but I wouldn't put it past them to have something creative, some interesting way to tax wealth without actually calling it a wealth tax. Certainly this tax on income, when you're paying close to 17% of your income just for the state, just to watch it be so terribly mismanaged. I spent 6 months in California over a dozen years ago. And I remember driving on roads, driving in from the state of Arizona where everything was beautifully managed. And you would drive in from Arizona and you would think that you were driving on the surface of Mars, quite frankly, with how badly some of these roads were and how badly they were managed. And so what is California doing this for? Well, they say it's to end homelessness. Now, I think we can all get behind that. It's terrible what has certainly happened, and it's a growing problem in the Western world. I think probably not for the same reasons that people on the left are talking about, but we don't like to get behind that, and that's exactly why they use that as an excuse, right? Because we've seen surveys in other parts of the world, like Canada, where 3 out of every 4 people are in favor of wealth taxes. Vast majorities are in favor of taxing people who have 7- and 8-figure incomes. And so why not? Why not target these people, all right? And let's have a proposal that large majority can get behind, like ending homelessness. Now, I'm a lifelong entrepreneur. I run what I believe is a relatively lean organization. I contribute to charitable organizations all over the world. And you know what I look at in a way that you can't really look at is adequately when it comes to taxes? When I give money, is how is my money being used? I've looked at charities where they want to spend $60 buying a child's coat, a winter coat for an 8-year-old. And I'm thinking to myself, in this country, we can't get winter coats for less than $60. I'm going to take my charitable dollar elsewhere so that I can make sure I'm having the impact. I don't want to just give, I want it to have an impact. With the government, you don't get that. And so do you think that if they're going to add this new tax, is homelessness going to be fixed? Are the people running the state of California going to fix the problem of homelessness if only you, the $1 million a year earner, fork over an extra $35,000, plus more corporate tax, plus more on this, plus more on that? If you give an extra $50,000 or $60,000 a year for the rest of your life, is that going to solve the problem of homelessness with these guys running the show? I highly doubt it. But the real reason I'm talking a lot lately about millionaire taxes and wealth taxes, because we're seeing, when we read the tax publications, when we read stuff from think tanks that have the ear of politicians, all the stuff that we read in our line of business, the dry, boring, not so glamorous tax stuff, is Western countries are coming after wealth, and they have lots of good reasons now. They have a pandemic that they didn't prepare for and they need to pay for. They have things like homelessness to pay for. They've got a lot of good reasons they've been stacking up. And now with people angrier than ever that, thanks to government actions, they've lost their jobs, which is very sad. Guys like Elon Musk are becoming wealthier. Some of his employees who own Tesla stock have also become much wealthier, but set that aside. The real issue is we just hate wealth. And it's an easy group to pick on. Politicians want to stay in power, and when 75% of people approve the idea of taxing millionaires, something they don't even know the definition of, because again, someone who makes $1 million a year might only take home in California $450,000 a year. And they might spend a lot of that living on a high mortgage, on going out to nice restaurants, on having the right car. You could have a guy making that who has very little savings. And so people don't even know the proper definitions, but they're happy to come out and take your money. And so what would I do about this? Well, here at Nomad Capitalist, we focus on going where you're treated best, not where you're treated better. And so would I move to Arizona or to Nevada or to Florida? Well, that's a good start, because you never know how crazy California is going to get. But for me, that would be a temporary move, because I believe you'll see the U.S. with Joe Biden coming into power, with people like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders having record attention within the Democratic Party. I think you will see, not as a matter of if, but if a matter of when, you will see some of these liberal policies of taxing wealth, of raising taxes on high earners, of finding all kinds of creative ways to gouge successful people. They will come into effect on a U.S. level, on a Canadian level, I think, potentially. In many Western countries, there is a mandate to do that. And certainly there is some pushback in California even for a wealth tax, but I think that eventually you keep pushing, policies in the West become more progressive. Hatred of wealth becomes more sustainable, becomes more commonplace, and it becomes more acceptable. And so for me, the step would be, I'm going to look where can I live outside of the United States to qualify for things like the foreign earned income exclusion, to move my company overseas and dramatically reduce my corporate tax rate, get rid of my entire California infrastructure entirely, and live overseas. Live in a place like Puerto Rico, reduce my taxes to 0, 4, 10%, something in that range. Dramatically lower your taxes, and with that savings, invest that in a second residence and a second passport in some other country. So if the time comes when you've got to make the decision between handing over $100,000 extra for the rest of your life or staying in the United States, you can be prepared to make that decision and not have to be sucked into some retroactive tax that they're passing a month from now without time to prepare. So, for me, living in a tax-friendly state is a very small step. Certainly, I can tell you from even those 6 months of experience with California, with the FTB, they are the most aggressive tax collection agency on planet Earth. We work with taxes all over the world all the time. They are the worst. They don't even play by the rules some of the time. So I would get out of there But while you're moving, while you're going from California to Nevada, which may be better, ask yourself what will be best, and then start to put that into perspective. Start to put that plan into action. We've got over 1,000 videos, almost 2,000 blog articles at nomadcapitalist.com explaining the strategies that we talk about to illegally reduce your taxes, increase your freedom, have a better quality of life, living somewhere else that's not just better because you're not saving the California taxes. U.S. taxes are going to go up too. You'll see what happens at the U.S. federal level. There may just want to come a time when you'd rather be living under the tax laws of the Bahamas or of Singapore or of Ireland because they treat you the best for what you need to do. So for me, moving out of California would be a temporary step. Take the money you save from that, set it aside, invest in it as an insurance policy to make sure that your wealth and your income continues to be treated well in the years to come as taxes in places like California go up. How can Nomad Capitalist help you? 4 ways. Number 1, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to make sure you get our new video every day. Number 2, get a copy of Nomad Capitalist, the book. You'll learn a lot of my personal experiences over a dozen years of studying this stuff, as well as exactly some of the strategies that you can use to build your Nomad Capitalist plan. Number 3, if you're not sure where to start, but you want to come and learn from my team and I, you want to come and mingle with like-minded people, learn more about our live conference, Nomad Capitalist Live. It's coming up soon. And number 4, if you want some help right now because you've got a burning issue, you need something solved, you want to lower your taxes, get a second passport, or build the Nomad Capitalist lifestyle of your dreams, go to nomadcapitalist.com and click on Become a Client.